Guys, I am incredibly bullish here. For the first time ever, we have if not pro-Bitcoin, certainly not anti-Bitcoin government. It's very likely that banks will soon be able to custody Bitcoin. So I think we're headed much higher, not just in the short term, but as a long-term hold, I think Bitcoin couldn't be in a better position.
Bitcoin is set for explosive growth. As the US government supports Bitcoin and banks begin holding it, a massive wave of institutional adoption will drive its price to unseen heights. That's the latest prediction from Fred Krueger, a crypto expert with nearly a decade of Wall Street experience and a PhD from Stanford. For the first time, the US government isn't standing in Bitcoin's way. Banks may soon be able to hold Bitcoin, allowing you to buy it directly from them, making it more accessible than ever. Some states are already adding Bitcoin to their reserves, and pension funds may follow suit. As larger investors start getting involved, Bitcoin's value is bound to skyrocket. On top of that, taxes on unrealized gains are off the table, and interest rates may drop soon, pushing more people toward Bitcoin. Krueger says it's the perfect setup for a Bitcoin boom in the long run. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as Fred Krueger shares his 10 incredibly bullish predictions for Bitcoin post-elections. Also guys, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy staying up to date with finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind. Now, here's Fred Krueger with his latest Bitcoin outlook.
So, what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, for the first time ever, the government is not going to be openly hostile for digital assets. Now, we had hostility under Obama. We had hostility under Trump. We had extreme hostility under Biden and Gensler. And now, for the first time ever, we have if not pro-Bitcoin, certainly not anti-Bitcoin government that is shaping up. So that's the first thing. Second thing, it's very likely that banks will soon be able to custody Bitcoin. So remember Bitcoin's veto of SAB 121? Well, that is history. We have had exceptions like BNY Mellon, who have gotten an exception to SAB at 121, but it's very likely that all banks are soon going to be able to custody Bitcoin. And that's huge because that means ultimately you're going to be able to buy Bitcoin right from your bank where you have all your money. So I think banks holding Bitcoin is a thing that's going to happen very quickly. Third thing is Gary Gensler is going to be gone, hasta la vista. What that means is that DeFi and crypto projects can really innovate, and Bitcoin can take the center stage in a world where you're really going to have multiple digital assets in this world. So I think in a world of multiple digital assets, that's good for Bitcoin. That means that Bitcoin, which is the digital gold, which is the new money of the new world, it can become the center of a whole range of digital assets, including stablecoins. So that's really good. Number 4 is there was talk about unrealized gains tax, which I thought was just crazy that came up this year. That tax is just dead for the next 4 years. We're not having any unrealized gains tax. Tax rates are going to go lower, not higher. That's great for Bitcoiners. Number five is we'll probably see some kind of in-kind ETF right now. So if you look at these ETFs, right now they're cash settlement ETFs, which means you have to buy them with cash and you can trade them in for cash, but you can't fund them with Bitcoin. And that's probably going to change. You're probably going to have the ability to fund your ETF with Bitcoin and ultimately without severe tax consequences either in the near future. Number 6, I think the U.S. is going to be implementing a Bitcoin strategic reserve. At a minimum, that's going to mean that the Silk Road Bitcoin and the other Bitcoin that we have confiscated will be put in a reserve and it won't be touched. That's at the absolute minimum. There probably will be some modest contributions to it. And I think that other nations are going to follow suit and they're going to start stockpiling Bitcoin, just like central banks stockpile gold. Number 7, individual states are going to start their own Bitcoin reserves. So pension fund, for example, the state of Wyoming has this very large reserve fund. Alaska also has a big sort of reserve fund. Florida, the CFO has already put some Bitcoin ETFs on the balance sheet. So it really will be that pension funds and other institutions are quickly going to get on board with adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. So I think this is incredibly powerful.
The idea of a strategic Bitcoin reserve could soon become a reality as Donald Trump returns to the White House. This ambitious plan, spearheaded by Senator Cynthia Lummis, known as the Bitcoin Senator, aims to make the US government a large investor in the Bitcoin market. The proposal, introduced as the Bitcoin Act, would have the US government purchase 200,000 Bitcoin every year for the next 5 years, eventually accumulating up to 1 million BTC, nearly 5% of the total supply. The goal of this Bitcoin reserve is to mirror the Treasury's role in managing the nation's gold reserves, but in a modern digital way. According to Lummis, this would make Bitcoin a hedge against economic instability while helping the US dollar maintain its dominance as the world's reserve currency. The funds to buy Bitcoin wouldn't come from new debt, but by diversifying existing assets like bonds and gold that the Federal Reserve already holds. Interestingly, the US government already holds billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin from criminal cases, but the proposed reserve would be different. The Bitcoin purchased under this plan would be held for at least 20 years with a never-sell policy, similar to how Bitcoin has been handled in past government seizures. If this bill passes, it could change the US's stance on digital assets and make Bitcoin a huge part of its long-term financial strategy. However, the plan currently faces challenges. Critics fear it could centralize control of Bitcoin, a currency designed to be decentralized. They argue that government control could influence Bitcoin's market value and undermine the principles it was built on. There are also questions about how this would impact the crypto industry and whether it's the best way forward for the US economy. While the Bitcoin Act has been introduced in Congress, it hasn't passed yet. For this vision to come true, the bill needs approval from both the Senate and the House, and then President Trump would need to sign it into law. Despite the hurdles, there's growing optimism, with industry experts believing that the Trump administration would continue to push for policies that make Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies a key part of the nation's financial future. What do you think of this? Let us know in the comments. Now let's go back to Fred Krueger as he shares more of his predictions.
Number 8, advisor allocation. So I think TradFi is going to start seeing this as a coast clear for advisor allocation. So, really you have 3 pools of capital in this world. You have self-directed, that's a third. You have advisor, that's a third. And then you have pensions, sort of institutions, that's the third. We talked about institutions, but also the advisor market is going to be opened really for Bitcoin. And I think we're going to start seeing 3 to 5% allocations to Bitcoin for high net worth and a little bit below high net worth as well. So all advised managed accounts are going to start becoming more Bitcoin oriented. Number 9, this is a big one. Interest rates worldwide are going to go down in the short end. If Powell doesn't comply, he's going to be bullied out. We're going to start seeing a first interest rate cut tomorrow, I think. We're going to have a very, probably a 25 basis point cut, but I think we're basically headed down worldwide interest rates. And number 10, we generally have a soft economy, and we're going to be doing some cuts at the government level. These DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, is going to cut spending, and that will keep inflation in check, and it's going to provide a cover for massive transformation of the system. So those are my 10 points. Guys, I am incredibly bullish here. I'm incredibly bullish, and I think we're at the very, the best is yet to come, right? So we're at 75,000. I think we're headed much higher, not just in the short term, but as a long-term hold. I think Bitcoin couldn't be in a better position. Bitcoin now is clearly going to be the asset of the future. Have a great post-election event, and let's celebrate the impact this is going to have on Bitcoin. Talk to you guys later.
Meanwhile, Changpeng Zhao, the former CEO of Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, has been weighing in on Bitcoin's recent price surge and what investors can expect moving forward. CZ took to X to share his thoughts, cautioning holders to be careful. While the price surge is exciting, he warned investors to apply proper risk management and avoid getting too greedy. His advice: don't put your eggs in one basket. Ape slowly. In other words, don't go all in on Bitcoin during these highs, as the market can still experience dips. CZ also reflected on the collapse of FTX, which shook the crypto world a year ago. In early November 2022, FTX, once the second largest exchange, went under after Binance pulled out of a potential buyout, citing a significant liquidity crunch at FTX. The fallout from this led to FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried being accused of defrauding investors and sentenced to 25 years in prison. While CZ had his own legal troubles, facing charges from the US Department of Justice for violating securities and anti-money laundering laws, he only spent 4 months behind bars and was released by the end of September. Many crypto enthusiasts hope that with his return and the new month of October, Bitcoin's price will continue to rise. But CZ's warning shows that the market remains volatile, and investors should proceed with caution. Anyway, guys, before we go, if you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, make sure to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 50,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that it provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.